Dispatch number 13. Calm within the fire. I feel like I'll ever get fully accustomed to these tubes no matter how many times I use them, said Ringbolt as he shifted his shoulder and forearm guards around. He patted down the invisible embers that followed him out of the tube that were just a figment of his imagination, clutching the ring that dangled from the cloth wrapped around his left arm. You mean the transportation system weaving in and out of every part of the city that your team built for us? Said King Aras sarcastically, smirking as he moved towards the armed warriors guarding the hover throne. He respectfully bowed to each of the warriors, making eye contact and giving a swift nod to each one of them individually. You forget that I hated every single moment of the construction years ago, young one, said Ringbolt as he shook his head. I beat your father in a game of wind shipping. At the time, he told me that he'd find a way to pay me back at some point. If this is the way of forever reminding me, then touche, old friend, touche. The king boarded the hovering vehicle, taking his staff from Zondar before extending a hand to his old Theoluvian friend. After getting the turtle on board, Aras pointed his staff in the direction of the Simeon temple and nodded. Zondar moved the levels over the hover throne forward towards the king's transportation, headed directly towards Mount Aluda. The ground quietly erupted as Commander Shan shot out of the lava tube and into the reception canister. He frantically looked around, still in awe of the transportation experience he just went through. Before he could fully catch his breath, Commander Vaughn captured out his tube, clearing the canister waiting for him, and taking out two armed guards, arming the entrance to the Plume Marketplace. Commander Sean shook his head and scrambled to the aid of the two fallen guards and his partner, once again covering over the mistakes that he made throughout the journey. The launch angle I got on that baby, what a shot! Screamed Commander Vaughn, obviously still a little bit intoxicated from the alien moon concoction. Yes, yes, said Commander Sean. A banger comparable to the size of your headache tomorrow morning. As the guards guarded their composure and realized that they couldn't punish the visitors that their king had placed a protection clause on, a shadow had been cast across Commander Vaughn's face. That's, normal, right, gentlemen? Said Commander Vaughn to the guards. The orange glow from the sun hung around the horizon as the hover throne made its way through the first ridge and past the farms of the highlands that separated the city from the royal temple. The dark, heavy hues ran straight up Vertree's face of the mountain and dissipated into the emerging night sky. As the warriors traversed throughout the mountainside, a resonating glow from the lava pools below produced what looked like a protective shield over the colony of Simia. Ringbolt caught himself staring at the ancient volcano, his jaw ajar in awe. Completely mesmerized by the moon's landscape since the day that he landed there many years ago, Simia held a very strong place in the old warrior's heart. With Mauna Lua growing closer by the second, King Aras could feel the energy inside the volcano channeling within it. The High Protectors were watching. Noticing the slight change in the body language of the Simian leader, Ringbolt whispered to his late friend's loyal son, a calming presence for the newly appointed king. Aras, you seem troubled, said Ringbolt, just audible for those within a few feet of the king. Simian hairs raised amongst the guards aboard the hovercraft. It was evident that amongst the group their king and colony were in great danger. Ringbolt, my friend, the mountain is trying to tell me something. The High Protectors are giving their warning that the Legion of Wind are on their way, said Aras, his voice deeper than usual. Zondar, get us to the temple now. Timing of all of this is imminent. Elecron, can you hear me? What's your status? What are your coordinates compared to Simia? Said Ringbolt with a hint of apprehension in his voice. Ringbolt, thank goodness you're still alive, said Elecron. Our indicators say that we're within a half a day of the Simian atmosphere. While Nifty and the Legion of Wind aren't that far ahead of us, they were able to noticeably outpace us within the existing atmosphere of Mackinnon, I wouldn't underestimate the power of wind and would prepare for all options. As Simeon guards exchanged glances of concern around the room, their heads turning anxiously towards the king, Aras faced his warriors head on, unafraid of the fate that was set before him. After a brief moment of silence, the Simeon king cleared his throat and proceeded to speak to the entire temple. Brave warriors of Simea, kin of Ramus and Dodimus before him, many of you have remained loyal to the throne despite much change of power. I am forever in debt to you for that reason, said Aras, as he surveyed his army. The road ahead is going to be far from easy. Hell is on its way, and it will stop for no one. While the High Protectors will do everything in their power to protect our way of life, it is now our turn to protect the place that we love. May Simea survive and thrive just as it always has. As the king finished his speech to the warriors, the sky above Mount Aluda grew black. The skies around the active supervolcano darkened as 6 unidentified objects broke through the Simeon atmosphere. While the horizon all but faded from the lava pools, it became clear that 5 fighter jets surrounded by a single mammoth starcraft had broken through the Commander Vaughn damaged portion of the moon's defense system. The war for Simea, the first moon of Ilsindor, has officially begun.
Recruits, it's time for you to choose what you think happens next. Select 1 if you think Mission Specialist JB loses an eye in the Battle of Simea. Select 2 if you think Mission Specialist JB loses an arm in the Battle of Simea. And select 3 if you think Mission Specialist JB loses a leg in the Battle of Simea. Head to the Choose Your Own Adventure channel in the Shot to the Moon Discord and discuss your choices with fellow Space Pass holders. Listen to next week's podcast to hear what happens next.